It is Tuesday, January the 12th, 2017. The Del Norte Local Transportation Commission will now come to order, and maybe we could have a roll call.
Took the button off. Commissioner Fallman?
Here.
Commissioner Hemmingson?
Here.
Commissioner Kime?
Here.
Commissioner Howard?
Present.
Commissioner Inscore?
Here.
Public Advisory, Policy Advisory Member Tucker?
Here.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll have a public comment. Anyone wishing to make public comments regarding matters either on or off the agenda and within the Commission's jurisdiction may do so at this time. However, the Commission is not permitted to act on non-agenda items. Is there any public comment? Mr. Lonsdale. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Bill Lonsdale, and I live in Crescent City. Wish everybody a Happy New Year, even though it's almost mid-month, and like to congratulate the newly appointed commissioners for their presence. They're in for an interesting time. I would like to speak to item 4C, which is the Redwood Coast Transit Audit Report, and it's nothing critical. It is my usual praise for the fact that Redwood Coast Transit, with the cooperation of your board, dedicates most of the available TDA money to transit. And this is a very unusual thing in my experience. This is one of the few jurisdictions I'd ever lived in where there isn't a fight over that money. And you guys support public transit really very well, and I thank you for that.
Any other public comment? Okay, seeing no any further public comment, we'll close the public comment period, and we are going to go to closed session. Is that correct? Okay, we are going briefly. Is that what you said? Okay, we are briefly going to go to closed session, and we will be back soon, I guess. Thank you very much for hanging in there with us. Council, would you report actions from closed session?
Yes. On a motion from Commissioner Fallman and seconded by Commissioner Howard, the board voted to reject the claim of John Alexander against the Del Norte Local Transportation Commission. That vote was unanimous except for the recusal of Commissioner Keim.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to adjourn to the Policy Advisory Committee, and we will take up the consent agenda. Is there any public comment on the consent agenda? Okay. Seeing no public comment. I have a motion. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Could you pull the vote, please?
Commissioner Keim?
Yes.
Commissioner Insgore?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Policy Advisory Member Tucker?
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman?
Yes.
Do I call you chairman or are you still commissioner?
I don't know what you call me. Call me hey you or something.
He's the acting chair. I would say.
Acting Chair Hemmingson.
Okay, yes. Okay, we're going to move on to item E. Tamara, are you going to take this up? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
Just getting way back there in my agenda packet.
Okay.
We missed quite a few pages. Okay, in the TAC meeting a week ago, we had a lengthy discussion about this project. In the middle of that discussion, we also reviewed the eligible uses for Regional Surface Transportation Program funds. I updated, after that conversation, the TAC agreed that the appropriate funding request for the commission is $200,000, which is what's included in your agenda packet. And what's included in the resolution that I have put before Mr. Hemmingson today. The focus of the project is to repair and open Cooper Avenue. So it's the emergency funding for Cooper Avenue repair and reopening. There's a timeline in there that the city anticipates following. The funding deadline is June 30th. Just to give us some, fudge room, there's no reason not to put some extended time on the resolution, and it keeps the money within this fiscal year. It's well within what's reasonable for this type of project, and predicting the potential that some little something might go awry between now and then. We do have, more rains are falling in the near future. The city seems to have a really good path forward and a quick path forward. And in addition to that, Mr. Weir reviewed the information as it was current at the time in the commission meeting in December. So he's here if you have any specific questions, but if not, we can move forward.
I don't have any specific questions, but maybe just general. We kind of left him out, giving us an update at the last meeting. Maybe he wants to tell us how things are going. I'm sure the city has probably heard enough of this, but we don't, we might not get, we may not get this information as quickly as they do.
Sure. Thank you, Chair Hemmingson, members of the commission. Yes, just like to thank you guys once again for considering this action. Cooper Street has been a challenge, and it's been a challenge, though, that has allowed for opportunities for partnership between the city and the county. On a continual basis, I have conversations with your county road superintendent, Jeff Daniels. Again, just want to extend my appreciation for that interaction and their involvement. Work has commenced now that the weather has subsided a little bit. So we are installing a valve on the 6-inch AC line as we speak. County is gearing up to start the storm drain portion of it. We're reinstalling the pump to pump down the backup, so to speak, in that Cooper Street reservoir. So as we decrease the lake levels, we'll be able to start on the storm drain project. The plan of attack is for the county to commence with their work first within the county yard, work their way towards the Cooper Avenue section. As they do so, we will have all the utilities bypassed at that point, either the 24-inch water main that's currently been shut down. That piece of that pipe will be removed. We're also going to remove a piece of the 6-inch AC water main. We have a 6-inch gravity sewer that we have to bypass and a 2-inch gas line. So all that is underway. It's all scheduled. If weather will allow, this project will be completed ahead of the schedule that's in this agenda. If weather does not cooperate, then we might be right at it or a little bit behind, but we will get it done as soon as we can, get this road open back up.
Great, sounds good. I was just noticing on 101 south of Cooper, between Cooper and 9th Street, but as you're coming up the hill there, is that a storm drain there that water seems to be coming out of the manhole cover?
You know, it's quite possible. I will. I appreciate the updated information from the commission, and we'll be investigating.
Well,
that.
I noticed it was a little more, I think, the other day. It's a little less today, but you can still see that it appears as though it's coming out of the storm drain.
That's as you follow that storm drain system down, it crosses the highway right at that point. So we have a temporary bypass that's in. That's an 18-inch line. It was running at full capacity. That line should have been able to handle that. We do have minor flooding that occurs in the fairground from time to time, but we'll need to check into that.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Any other questions? Well, I just think it's better to find out about it before it's a problem. But any other questions or comments from board members, commissioners? Okay. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Seconded.
I have a second. Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, then any further discussion? Would you pull the vote, please?
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Inscore?
Yes.
Commissioner Keim?
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman?
Yes.
Policy Advisory Member Tucker?
Yes.
Acting Chair Hemmingson?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Moving on, we got some discussion items. Tamara?
Not much to discuss on the U.S. Highway 199 safety and project update. Mr. Tucker, do you have any information about the Post Mile 10 area, the safety area?
Yes, Post Mile 10, the high friction surface treatment, the work has been put out to bid. We haven't received any bids at this point in time, so we're waiting to see what the response is, and then we'll move forward with the contract.
Just as a reminder, we also have a fallback position for that high friction surface treatment, in that it would be included in some additional work that Caltrans is doing on 199 in June, perhaps, a project that's going out in June. So if there are no bids for this specific work, or there is nothing that Caltrans can accept for whatever reason, there is that fallback where it's grouped with some other projects on 199.
Cool.
And then I would like to Chris? I'm sorry. Commissioner Howard.
Well, if you're still on 199, I was just wondering about the crossroads, where we're at with those discussions. You're probably getting to it. I probably jumped ahead of myself here.
No, it's okay. On 199 at Elk Valley Crossroad, we have the pedestrian, the traffic counts were done in September. They'll be done again in the late spring or summer, and then again in the fall. So they'll be done high summer for us. What is high summer? Caltrans has agreed to take a look at the counts and evaluate them for eligibility for a project, some kind of a safety project at that location. In addition to that, we are moving forward with our project to accept, to make it easier for public input through the crowdsourcing tool that we're developing. And that tool should be completed by the end of June, so we will have that tool completed and available to the public over summer. It's my hope that folks who Drive at that location will continue to keep us updated and add to the information, if not exact data, to at least the formal information collected by Caltrans at that location for all of the near misses that we hear from our community. So those are the two areas that's moving forward right now.
Okay.
Okay. And last chance grade, we are anticipating by the end of June and perhaps sooner the revised economic impact of a full closure of US Highway 101 at last chance grade. I know Caltrans is working on those documents, has been for some time, but continues to work on those documents. I don't have an exact deadline, but I think it might be June 2017 when we can anticipate that study. That's all the update that I have at this time. Kip.
I'll just add to the discussion about the economic study. We have reached out to the Oregon Department of Transportation, and we're working with one of their senior economists to improve some of the assumptions for the economic analysis model that we're using. And so I just wanted to make everybody aware that that's one of the reasons why we're taking a little bit more time to make sure that we get it right.
Right on. Thank you. Chris?
Also like to request if Caltrans could provide us with some of the data points for US Highway 101 between Fred Hay Drive and Wilson Lane, specifically that went into the analysis for the Dollar General store and the rejection of the idea for a turn lane. What I'm specifically looking for from Caltrans is when the dates of those motor vehicle survey volumes were taken. And
I could speak a little bit to that. The Dollar General analysis was actually done by a consultant. Caltrans' responsibility is just to review the traffic impact study. And so we actually went through and found our own counts in the month of June. And so part of the analysis is they have to, depending on what time of year they take the counts, they have to add a certain percent to account for peak season. So they added 30%, and I talked to David Morgan this morning, and looking at our counts in June, 30% is right on in terms of accounting for the increase in traffic that is experienced during the summertime with the peak season of tourism. And so his comment to me was that the original assumptions made in the traffic study, Caltrans still agrees that those are correct and that we don't have any concerns with the traffic study completed by the consultant.
do you know how old those studies are?
I don't have that information on hand. It was done as part of the project review, so within the last
Thank you.
year.
So perhaps it would be helpful if I could have a copy of the traffic study that was done. I mean, it's public information, right? The traffic study?
Yeah, that information can be
Yeah, if you could email that to me,
provided by
then
the county, or
yeah.
they can provide that also.
if you could send that to me, that would be great. Then I can share it.
Okay, anything else, Tamara? Nothing? Okay. So, anything from commissioners? Updates? Something you want to tell us about? Okay. If we're all done, we will adjourn as the Policy Advisory Committee and reconvene as the Del Mar Local Transportation Commission. And I'm looking for a motion to adopt the actions of the Policy Advisory Committee.
I move to adopt the actions of the Policy Advisory Committee.
Second that motion.
And I have a second. Any public comment? Seeing no public comment, then we'll bring it back to the board. Oh, we do have public comment. Okay.
Just on that last item, in the Dollar General store going in, I had a question about that, and something that might have not been accounted for, I don't know. But when you're putting in a store that is accessed only, you know, along that 101, most probably by the community right there, it's not just comparing, you know, traffic, but all the short trips and the large increase of traffic that would be happen right there. How did they account for that? And it is my experience that are on some of these more public issues, when a study is done by an applicant, your the county's planning commission, it generally doesn't question them. It always is trying to be pro-development and makes things as smooth as possible for the applicant. There are some situations where the community pays a price for that general attitude. And so, was that brought up during the planning process? How can you predict where everybody in the community, because this is going to be like the only source of, you know, marketable food, and all the little trips, that's huge traffic impact. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, no other public comment, then would you poll the vote, please?
Commissioner Keim?
Yes.
Commissioner Ainscore?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman?
Yes.
Acting Chair Hemmingson?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, if there's nothing else from commissioners, we will adjourn to our next scheduled meeting, February 9th at 11 a.m. Thank you very much.
30-minute meeting. Give me just a minute.